Good morning. I hope everybody's safe and well. It's Monday and I'm dragging me fucking arse, if I'm honest. And I can't be fucking arsed. It's fucking freezing. You know, the weather's changing. It's hard to stay motivated. But I wanted to come on and share my experience and a bit of strength and a bit of hope, like, you know, about where I'm at and the beginning and where I started. And this time last year was a fucking mess. I was in recovery and I was still using. You know, I couldn't find that way out. I felt trapped because I felt like I couldn't use anymore. The drugs wasn't working anymore. Recovery wasn't working anymore, and I was like at really fucking sticky point where I just couldn't get through. You know, I felt fucking like massive. It was massive for me, and I went out and used, and I remember going out and using. It was around bonfire night and stuff, and I ended up on a spree where I used for days, and then I had a couple of days off, and then I used for days, I had a day off, and then I used for days, and then it was a weekend, and I was continuously letting my daughter down. You know, at least once a month. I didn't really like who I was becoming. I couldn't bear to look at myself in the mirror. I just felt fucking horrible all the time. You know, fucking God knows how I ended up holding down my job and keeping the doors open at my business and stuff. And I sort of like, I remember it got to the point where it was like, you know, what do I do? You know, luckily for me, I worked for myself. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't. I'm very fucking blessed, to be honest, that I worked for myself and I managed to keep the doors open of my business, you know, by the skin of my teeth. But honestly, like, I don't want anyone to think that they need to get to this point where I got to in order to start making change. And that's sort of like why I start doing these videos, because I just burnt myself out with it. But for a long time, I'd say before the last 3-4 years of my using, before that I spent about 6 or 7 years just going out weekends and getting smashed. You know, that's all I fucking used to do. It didn't end well for me. You know, it got to the point where there was never enough drugs. I was never out for long enough. The night would always end before I wanted to. The parties were shit. You know, they just, I never wanted to stop, and I couldn't wait till the week after to go and fucking do it all again, you know. And I remember, like, as I said, I like go back to this time last year, or it might have been the year before. But it wasn't last year. It was probably the year before. It got to the point where it was like I was in recovery and I couldn't stop fucking using. You know, I'd get a month or two in, and then I'd just go out and use. And every time I went out and used, I'd convince myself that it was going to be good again, or like that's what I wanted to do that because it was my money, it was my time, I wasn't hurting anybody, all that stuff. But you know, all that shit, I was too young to never take drugs again, you know, thinking that people that didn't take drugs was boring bastards, and all that shit going on, all that internal fucking resistance. You know, it's just resistance. You think everyone else is having the fucking time of their life because they're going out and having a drink and getting smashed, and it's like, honestly, the going out getting smashed bit for me, it was shit. It was fucking shit. You know, when I look back on it now, it was shit. It was shit when I was doing it. But I felt different, you know, I felt different about it. When I was pissed, I didn't really care how shit it was, as long as I was fucking smashed. You know, partly the reason why I was smashed, you know what I mean? Because where I was and what I was doing was shit. Sat around fucking propping bars up and sniffing in toilets and shit and just chatting shit, really. You know, it wasn't even like, I wasn't really connecting with anybody, you know. I wasn't really bothered about who were there, as long as there was someone there that I knew who would do it with me, and, you know, and eventually it didn't end up like that. But I remember last year anyway, I come into recovery and I started fucking all the outside stuff off. I stopped going out. So basically, all I had was just left, was just me and myself, do you know what I mean? And that was really fucking painful for me. At that point of my recovery, when I wanted to make some change, you know what I mean? Because I knew of people that lived a life for sobriety, you know. They didn't go out at weekends fucking using into oblivion, and these were the good, healthy, happy people, you know, with full lives, and, you know, all the stuff that I wanted, and you know, I wanted that inner peace. I wanted that peace. I wanted to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be a proud man. You know, I wanted my daughter to look at me as a proud man. I wanted to be a role model to the people around me, and I certainly fucking wasn't being, do you know what I mean? Especially when it comes to my daughter. It's like, regardless of what my daughter thinks of me, she'll love the bones of me until the day I die, regardless, do you know what I mean? And but that wasn't the point. I wasn't setting the benchmark of what a man's meant to be, you know, that figure of a good dad, you know. And it got to the point where I used because I went to recovery and I wasn't doing what was suggested. I had resistance inside me, and I struggled to take direction. I still had a lot of my ego intact, thinking that I could fucking do it on my own, and sort of like leaving my foot in the door, you know, because I didn't really want to never, you know, like, if me admitting that I had a fucking massive drug problem, that was it then. That was meaning that I could never go out of that fucking door again. You know, it's like that self-admittance, knowing that shit doesn't work anymore. It's shit. I spent 15 years of my fucking life doing the same thing over and over and over again. And going a bit off thingy, but I want to go back to that weekend, you know, like, it was like around bonfire night, and I used and I was psychotic. I'd not ate for fucking days, and this is very similar to some of the people that go out, you know. They go out on a Friday and they don't want to go home till fucking Monday, and often just manage to scrape it and get into work on a Monday and manage to keep the fucking job, like, and, you know, they blitzed all the fucking wages. I used to do the same thing every fucking weekend, you know, for fucking a long time. And I never knew any different, you know. That's what I thought you did, you know. I didn't know any different. And anyway, when I went into recovery and I couldn't fucking get it, and I had all that resistance inside me for change, you know, I didn't want to fucking change, and, you know, letting go of that old me and finding somewhere else and just trusting the fucking process, I found that really hard. And I come and I used, and I remember fucking using, and I was psychotic. I didn't eat for days, and I was causing myself physical and mental harm. You know, I ended up in a place where I wasn't safe to be around myself. You know, I could have fucking dropped dead at any time, and to be honest, because I used to go missing days at a time, all the time, the people that was close to me wouldn't even have fucking knew if I'd have dropped dead. You know, it'd have been 5 or 6 days before someone would even give a shit about me, or even gone, fucking, I've not heard from Neil, you know, because I used to isolate myself, and it was like a progressive isolation. So, you know, so I'd go days and days without speaking to somebody. So it was quite normal for me to go missing. And when it got normal for me to go missing, you know, people stopped fucking checking up on me, and it becomes very dangerous then. And I remember coming off the back end of that, and I rang my mum, God bless her, to fucking come and pick me up. You know, my fucking anytime she'd just come and get me. You know, no fucking questions asked, just come and get me. And it's like literally saving me from myself. You know, nobody else, saving me from myself. You know, I was killing myself. And a lot of people do this, but they sort of like just scrape rock bottom. I used to do it all the time, just scrape rock bottom, and then convince myself that it wasn't that bad, and then I'd end up back in the same place, you know what I mean? And that time sort of scared me. You know what I mean? Because I remember having that talk, and I was sat there and I said, I don't want to stop taking drugs because reality is so fucking painful. My life and the way I look at my life was so manageable, it was so painful that I would just rather use, and I didn't want to stop. You know, I didn't want to. Reality was just, oblivion was preferable for me, and that's just the way. That's where it ended for me. And I could get a week clean, I could get 2 weeks clean, I could get a month clean, but I'd always end up going back and using. And when I go back and use, it was fucking far worse than the time before, you know. And as I said, I was that psychotic. I was literally a danger to myself, and it got to the point where it was like, right, what do I do? What the fuck do I do? And I'm like, I'm gonna have to go into rehab. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go into rehab. I need something I need something. I need the help. I need to fucking ask somebody. I need somebody that knows more than me, and I need it fast, because I'm gonna leave my daughter without a dad. You know, I'm gonna leave my mum without a son. I'm gonna leave a lot of pain and heartache. You know, so fucking selfish attitude of not even thinking about the fucking pain that you're gonna leave behind. You know, that was never a fucking thought to me when I was going out and using, or thinking of picking up again. So I looked into private rehab. You know what I mean? I looked into private rehab, and I couldn't. It was like 3, 4, 5 grand. You know what I mean? And at the time it was like, right, I pay that amount of money. I go into rehab. I shut my business for 3 months. That's another fucking, you know, X amount of money that I'm losing. And it was like, it wasn't cost efficient for me, you know, and I needed it. I fucking needed it. But I couldn't deal with the stresses of work. I couldn't deal with the stresses of being a father. I couldn't deal with the stresses of being with myself. So I shut my business. You know, I shut my business for 3 months. I didn't go to work for 3 months. And I went to a fucking meeting every single day. You know, I must have missed 1 or 2. I did a 90 and 90 because it was suggested to me. You know, someone said to me, get to a fucking meeting, and get to a meeting every day. And I did the 90 and 90 to the best of my ability. You know, I did 90 meetings in 90 days. If there was online, a physical meeting, or online, you know, I tried my best. You know, sometimes it was even 2 a day. You know, sometimes I'd even go onto YouTube and listen to a show. I was always on the phone. I found people where I could ring daily, you know what I mean? As soon as someone said to me, give us a ring, I started ringing them. And it wasn't fucking easy at first, you know what I mean? But I'd just ring them. And I shut my business because I couldn't deal with the stresses. You know, if I had a really good week at work, I'd want to use. If I had a really shit week at work, I'd want to use. You know, I couldn't do that. I had to put all my fucking shit aside, and I had to fucking go and get myself into recovery. You know, like basically rehab on my own terms. And you know the best thing about it, all this was free to me. It was freely available to me. I couldn't fucking believe it. You know, I didn't have to spend the thousands of pounds of getting into to going into a rehabilitation centre. I didn't have to spend thousands of pounds shutting my business. I didn't have to lose any money. I just had to just substitute some of my time. You know, so I plugged enough money to pay 3 months rent, 3 months of my overheads at work, and I went and got into recovery. And I did 90 and 90 the best I could. And then I relapsed. And I went out and used again. And I used into oblivion again. And I couldn't fucking do it. And that was a turning point for me. You know, after that, it was a turning point. You know, because I used, because I was in that much pain, I used, and the drugs didn't take the pain away. I didn't get any ease and comfort the ones drugs once brought me. And then when I realised that, I associated drugs with vast amount of inner discomfort, pain, humiliation. All them feelings and emotions was not removed, and it was fucking amplified the minute I stopped. So I slowly associated, after having a load of recovery in my head, a load of help around me, a lot of people, the fucking solution right in front of me. You know, do certain things, go to meetings, pick up the phone, don't fucking use, go to meetings, pick up the phone, don't use, go to meetings, pick up the phone, don't use, over and over and over and over again, until eventually I looked back and I thought, I've not thought about using for a few days now. I've not, a fucking weekend's just gone by and I've not even considered taking drugs. That was a massive benchmark for me. And then I'd see people that I'd used to see and they'd go, fucking hell, you look really well. And it was like, I feel well, I feel better. And, I didn't have much clean time, but I'd give myself them breaks in between. And I think they're important then, relapsing is not a fucking secret, it's reality. But relapsing with a bit of going and using with a bit of recovery in you is what I class as a fucking relapse. If you go and pick up without doing what recovery requires you to do, going to a meeting, carrying a fucking message, fucking picking up the phone, doing some step work, finding someone to take you through the 12 steps of recovery, you're just fucking using again. Do you know what I mean? And sort of burning out all them excuses of like doing it for my daughter, doing it for this, doing it for my mum, doing it for this, doing it for that, doing it because my business is fucked, and doing it because I can't pay the rent, and like none of that mattered to me anymore. I wanted to fucking do it for me. I found that little bit of self-love in them early days of finding a couple of months sober. I got used to who the fuck I was. Do you know what I mean? That self-acceptance of who Neil is. It took a long time for that to happen, and I've been in recovery, mate, for about 2 years now. And it really helps me, to come on a social platform and recover and share my journey on a social platform, because I sort of hold myself accountable to carry the message, because I want to be that person who is always there, always clean and sober and I just want to be that person, so that when somebody else comes into the picture, or somebody else with similar background to me, using similar ways to me, all same areas, same fucking stuff, going out weekends and all that stuff, and I want to be that person who goes, well, he can do it, I wonder if I can do it. And slowly things started to change for me. I got a couple of months in and I did a 90 and 90 again. I did a second 90 and 90, but I did it. But I started going back to work as well. You know what I mean? And I started sharing about how I felt with work and what work was doing for me and how it was making me feel a certain way, and how these responsibilities of being an adult and paying bills and my house and being a dad, I started to talk about how these things made me feel and how I reacted to certain things in my life, and what would make me feel shit and what would make me feel like I needed to use. And, relationship was a bad one for me in the beginning. Sadly, I had to let go of a few people in order for me to fucking put myself first. It sounds selfish, but in the beginning, it's very important, because you need to change, a whole fucking change of behaviour, a whole change of who you are. And it needs vigorous action. It needs to be continuous, vigorous action. That's what a behaviour is. You need to change that behaviour of my attitude towards what drugs was doing for me. It wasn't bringing me ease and comfort anymore. It was causing me a lot of pain, and it was spilling out into many lives around me. As much as I wanted to deny that. Anyway, so I've got 6 months clean. I've never been this clean in my life. I've never been this clean since about the age of 15. I've never got 6 months before. I never even believed that I could get 6 months. A lot of people probably didn't believe that I could get 6 months, but I have done, and when I look at it, going back and I think about my drug taking and stuff like that, it's like I would not swap that journey of relapse and going back and relapse and going back. I wouldn't swap that. I wouldn't want to just come into recovery and not use again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, not that that's the thing that I'm trying to say, but I wouldn't swap anything of my journey from when I was 15, because the things that I've got today from recovery, self-acceptance, I'm comfortable in my own skin, I can sit on my own, you know what I mean? I feel comfortable just not doing anything. You know, when it comes to Friday night, I'm happy to just relax. You know, I can sit and just do me things. You know, I don't feel like I have to go and get smashed. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I don't look at them and go, oh, their life's better than mine because they're getting pissed all weekend, you know. None of that anymore. I've got a fucking loving relationship with my daughter. I've got a loving relationship with my girlfriend. You know, I've got all them things. You know, my mum don't fucking worry about me anymore. That's magic, that. That's just like, I couldn't want anything more than that. You know, and then I've got all the other things. You know, my business is back on its feet. You know, it took a lot of work, and it took a lot of me reacting to things without using in order for me to build the tools to stay clean. Me reacting to people, places and things, and sitting with them reactions and talking to somebody why I reacted to them things like that, and not using. Going to meetings, sharing about my experience, going, this such and such a thing has made me feel such and such a way, and why does it do that? And you know, people come up to me and they say, I had that, I felt like that. Sort of give you a solution, you know, to deal with life on life's terms, because you know, most of it in the end, I couldn't deal with my emotion. You know, when them emotions come up or something happened, you know, could be fucking anything. You know, if it were really sad, I'd use. If it were really happy, I'd use. You know, I'd use on a fucking sun when it was sunshine, I'd use when it was fucking raining. It didn't matter. Whenever I felt that fucking discontent, irritable, restless and discontent, I just wanted to use. And you know, it's not often that comes now, but when it does come, I know what I need to do in order to remove it, or let it pass, or talk to someone about it. I just don't use. And you know, I feel like my journey of life is just blossoming. It's just blossoming. I can't be more grateful for what I've got today. You know, I'm able to fucking show my daughter love and support emotionally, and be able to show my friends and close relationships love and support at all times. You know, I can show myself love and support. I like who I am. You know, I've got that self-love today, self-acceptance, and fucking feeling comfortable in my own skin. You know, I don't feel the need to be somewhere or be going somewhere or doing something or putting something in my system in order to just feel normal or something, just anything at times. I'm awake to life today. I'm awake to the people that care about me. I'm aware to care for other people. You know, I'm not a self-centered person anymore. I'm not a selfish bastard. I don't just think about myself anymore. I'm not wasting loads of money on fucking shit. I'm not wasting my time. My mental health is fucking dramatic change. My physical health, my physical appearance. You know, I feel great. You know, I cannot believe the results that I've got. And they're results that, like, they're not things. They're not material assets. None of them are material assets. They're all internal. They're all inside. You know, that I've recovered from the inside out, and now the outside is benefiting from what I've recovered from inside. You know, and I have to nurture this. I have to fucking nurture this. You know, it's a full-time job, but you know what? It's a blessing to enjoy that process of keeping myself nurtured at all times. You know, tending to Neil's garden, keeping me nice and fucking, you know, it's beautiful stuff. You know, and the people around me tell me, you know what I mean? You know, you're amazing. You know what I mean? And the things that you do are amazing. You know, I'm blessed to get complimented like that today, and watch some of the things that I do spill out into their lives, you know. Just, it's like a fucking ripple effect, you know what I mean? Like everything's recovering around me. And I said I've got 6 months clean, you know. I never thought I'd fucking be here. And, you know, I do fail to give myself gratitude for being that clean, you know what I mean? Especially when I used for 15 years. And then someone said to me, you know, it should be very important to you that, because, you know, to be using for 15 years and then all of a sudden just stop for 6 months, it's a massive achievement. So I wanted to come on and make a video, you know, and sort of go into what recovery's done for me, a little bit about my journey, a little bit about how it was for me in the beginning, and how I've applied patience to the process, and basically just give Neil a break and know that he's doing all right. And as long as I fucking keep my mouth open and talk, surround myself with people that care, all be well. You know, there were a lot of rituals in the morning, you know. I connect with people that are also running a 12-step program, you know. I get on my knees and I fucking pray and I ask God to help me. And I'm not a fucking religious person, you know. I'm not God-centered. I'm not no fucking, you know, Bible basher or whatever you fucking call them. You know, I don't go to fucking church every fucking week, but I get on my knees and I ask for a power greater to help me, you know, whatever that power may be, you know. For me, I can't explain what my power is, but I know for a fact it fucking separated me from drugs, and it helps me with a lot of other things as well. And then I meditate, you know, and I fucking switch off from my mind, because my mind is so powerful, it will fucking have me over. You know, it'll tell me, it's Friday, you're not used in a while, it'll be better this time, don't worry about it, no one will find out. Butter me up, you know what I mean? It'll try and fucking kill me. Another quick thing, you know, put some hope out there, you know, hold my hand out. That's what I want. That's my main purpose. I want people to find identification. Hold my hand out, you know. There's meetings running all day, every day, online, on Zoom. You know, if you want some links to some fucking meetings, give us a shout, and I'll put you into some. I'll send you some links and stuff, and you can try a meeting. You know, I can come on a meeting with you online. You can sign in. You don't even have to use your name. You don't even have to go on camera. You can sit in a room and just have a listen. You know, maybe it'll be a start of something, a bit of a change for you. Maybe just taking some little bit of action in the right fucking direction. There's physical meetings running in Preston, Lancashire. You know, more or less every night. There's a lot of different 12-step programs that you can run. They all spring from the fucking same thing. You know, it's all the same stuff. Doesn't matter where you're doing it, as long as you're fucking doing it. As long as you're getting somewhere and you're making the effort to move in the right direction, all will be fucking well. Do you know what I mean? Eventually. Apply a little bit of patience. But anyway, there's meetings running all the time in Preston, and if you're struggling, if you feel like you want to make a change but don't know how to, you know, if your head's having you off, you can't sit with yourself without fucking going and having a fucking beer or fucking taking fucking drugs, you know. I'm here to hold my hand out, you know what I mean? I'm quite happy to come, take my night off, pick you up, go for a coffee, take you to your first meeting, and drop you off at home, you know, and have a bit of discussion with you, and be of service to what was freely given to me. You know, that free stuff. I'll forever be in debt to what was given to me freely. You know, that space, that time, them people, and that availability to save me from myself. That's my message today. 60 66 month, 6 month clean, fucking hell, it's half a year that. Half a year. Beautiful, innit? Beautiful. And I feel amazing. It's Monday morning. I'd rather be sat in my car making a video than fucking grafting my arse off, but never mind. You know, procrastination's a massive one for me, so I'm gonna get off. But if you need any help, hold your hand out. Don't be scared to ask for help. You know, it all starts in the same place, and that's here. Hope you all have a blessed day.